Hello and welcome to this video of our Rimor 6-berth motorhome, otherwise known as Frankie G. Today we will be looking at the various features, where items are stored and how everything works. If you look at the video notes, you will find a list of times for each item so you can quickly locate them on your adventure. Okay, let's do it. Okay, first of all, keys. Frankie has a selection of keys for the habitation door, lockers, etc, etc. But the good news is they're all colour coded. The alarm fob is the same as any other modern car or van. Flip out key for the ignition, and then the central lock-in, lock and unlock. Moving around the motorhome, the first locker you will come across is the gas bottle locker. The key for this is the yellow one, colour coded, as you can see. Frankie will come with 2 gas bottles. This one could be potentially half full, depending on what's left from the previous rental. This spare bottle will be totally full. During transit, they must both be turned off, which is the valve at the back at 90 degrees as per the picture, and the tap fully closed clockwise. When you arrive at site, open up the top tap, flick that valve, and then your boiler and your cooking, etc, your heating will work. If the gas bottle runs out during a holiday, you need to swap it over, shut the valve, shut this tap, and then undo the hose. The hose is a left-hand thread, so you turn to the right to undo it all the way, swap the bottles over, and then reconnection is a reversal, and then open the valves. You're good to go. The next locker you come across, same key, yellow dot. You should never need to access this, but this is where the battery for the habitation is kept, and the fuses and the controller for the solar panel. This battery is charged via solar when your engine's running or when you are hooked up on site. Moving around the motorhome, next thing you come across is the inlet for the water tank. Blue key, blue dot, keep it simple. Unlock, push and twist. In here you can fill with the hose that we supply that is in the garage. This takes 120 litres, which you'll use obviously for your showering, to flush the toilet and for your washing up. When it's full, it will start to overflow and will also show on the control panel inside. Okay, next thing you'll come across is your power hookup when you are on site. It comes with a 25-metre lead on a roll, which is in the garage. You need to connect this end first, like so, and then connect the other end in at the supply on site. When you're leaving, so just a reversal, disconnect from the site first and then this last, and then before you drive off, just make sure that that is in the lock position. This is where you access the grey water storage tank. So this holds the water from the shower, washing up, sink. It's nothing to do with the toilet at all. This is purely grey water. So once you're at the site and if the tank's full or you're leaving, you position it over the drain or wherever, and then just pull it and you will see the water come out from underneath. Habitation door locks, yellow key yet again, yellow dot. Very straightforward. Something to note, there is a catch here, which when you're coming and going or you've got the door open in the summer, if you leave it up, it makes life a lot easier. You don't catch your clothes and so on. When you're leaving, leave it down, shut the door, lock the door. You have got a secondary lock here as well, which you may or may not want to use. And to release that, silver key, push it over, push the button in, and that is now locked. And then to unlock, put the key in, button pops out, slide it over, and then it's locked in that position there. Moving around to the rear of the motorhome, this is where your toilet cassette is stored. Again, yellow key, in and turn, and you need to press both buttons until you hear a click. Open up the door, and then to remove the toilet cassette, flick the yellow lever up and pull it out. Then take it over to the recycling point to empty into the drain, and to do that, twist the neck, remove the cap, pour it down the drain, and if you press this yellow button, it releases any airlocks, makes life a lot easier. When it's empty, give it a rinse, and then cap back on, swing it round, and then to refit, slide it in until you hear a click, like so, and then you're good to go. We have a 3-bike rack on the rear, takes up to 90 kilos. And to release this, undo these bottom straps, pull down hard, like so, lock up the straps to keep it in position, and then fold these down and then insert your bike. Obviously these go through the wheels, pull tight, and then this would clamp on to the top bar or whatever's suitable, whatever kind of bike you're carrying. Moving around to the passenger side of the motorhome, we have the garage. This is where everything is stored that you're going to need for your vacation. 2 keys, again, colour keyed, red and burgundy. The red one is on the right, burgundy one on the left. Pull them both together, and then there is a stay, like a bonnet stay, that latches in the side. And then to access everything under here, you just flip up the bottom bunk, secure it with the 2 catches. So, in the garage, we have your power cable, your hose for filling up your water. Underneath here, we have a picnic table, fold up picnic table, and a plastic tablecloth. You have the 2 chocks here, if you're not on level ground, to go underneath the wheels. We have a pop-up clothes horse, 6 fold-up chairs, a tyre repair kit and inflator, and we have the barbecue, which comes with 1 bag of charcoal and all your utensils. And when you want to drop it down again, just release the pressure, pull it out, and just lever it up slightly so it locks in place, and then that way it is free to drop down without scratching the walls. On this side of the van, just 2 vents for the fridge and the freezer. Nothing to do here, you can expect warm air to come out perfectly normal. This is the vent for the boiler. This is quite important. When you're in transit or in bad weather, you must keep the cover on. But when you're on site, just remove the cover. If you keep the cover on, the boiler won't work. It will throw up an error and you'll have no hot water and no heating. Here we have the diesel tank. It will come to you with a full tank of diesel. We ask you to return it with a full tank as well. And there is an Esso garage approximately 1/4 mile from here. Ignition key, in, unlock and twist, and straight forward. And then to return, turn it till it clicks, lock it and remove the key. Simple as that. Inside the motorhome now, and above the habitation door is your control panel. So the first button you need here is your master on-off switch. After that, you'll need to turn on this tap icon, which enables the water pump. Without that, you won't get any water anywhere. The second light here is to turn on the lights. You can turn them on individually at switches, but this is kind of a master switch. Aux is not used, you can ignore that. And if you press this last button, this just does a test and tells you the state of the batteries and the water tank and so on. So these are fully charged. If the batteries were depleted in the rear, you see this signifies the rear. This is the engine battery. If they were low, then the batteries would go low, and obviously red, you need to recharge. And this top one here is for your water tank. It's showing a quarter full at the moment. Once it's empty, it drops down to red. If you're plugged in to the mains and you hook up, then that will be lit to tell you that. This light here tells you that your waste tank is full and needs emptying if it's lit, and these other three are just for blowing fuses. If any of those come on, then you need to check the fuse box. When you're leaving, just to save batteries and everything, just hit the master switch before you leave. You also have additional and, if you like, override switches for the internal lights, certainly at this end of the motorhome. So when you come in, if you press 1, it turns the overhead light on. Press 2, turns the secondary lights on by the Skylight. And then this light is a very bright set of LEDs directly above my head now, lighting up the area. And then if you're leaving or you want to turn all of them off, just hit this bulb with a line through it, and that just turns all your lights off just before you leave. Okay, moving into the bathroom, toilet, basin and shower. You have a Skylight here, which opens like this and has got a blackout blind and a mosquito blind as well. If you do need to vent this room at all, please use the Skylight rather than this window, because now there is a bike rack behind there. That will cause a problem if you open the window, because it will get stuck. Okay, moving down to the toilet. This toilet does actually swivel around, and to use it you'll need to open the flap first, like so. So now the cartridge is open, and I'll just swivel it around so I can demonstrate to you the water. Press this blue button and the water will flush. Generally, try and be conservative with that, so you're not emptying the tank every 2 minutes. Quick flush at the beginning, quick flush at the end. When everything's finished, you slide the lever back, and that seals off the cartridge and keeps the smells away. In the shower cubicle, pretty much as you expect of any domestic shower. Mixer tap, hot and cold, and adjustable shower head. The only thing to remember when you're finished and you're in transit is to pull these doors to, and just keep the rubber latch like that so the doors are not rattling around too much. With the sink, again, pretty straightforward. Just make sure your pump is turned on, hot water and cold water. Very straightforward. This is your kitchen area, and you have two 240 volt sockets here and another 2 up here. These will obviously only work once you're plugged into a hookup on site. Chopping board, sink, hot and cold water. Obviously make sure your pump is on for that to work correctly. Underneath you have this cupboard here, which is all your pots and pans and kettle and cling film and cleaning products and all those kind of things that you're going to need. Bottom drawer is all your cutlery, bottle opener. The cooker is a 4-ring gas with a grill and oven. Obviously make sure your power is switched on and your gas is switched on, and then to light the gas, turn, hold it in, press the igniter, just keep it held in for a few seconds, and then you're ready to cook. Same thing applies with the grill and the oven. And the oven does have a light, which is this switch here as well. Now, when you're cooking or boiling the kettle or anything like that, either run the extractor fan, which is switched from above here, or just open a skylight or a window to let all the steam out. Your cupboards above, you have everything you need. Basic pantry, so tea, coffee, sugar, salt, pepper. All your mugs, glasses, 6 bowls, 6 small plates, 6 large plates, and this is when you're washing up, you're draining into a microfiber towel, which is quite handy, so when it's done, just wring it out outside. Last thing to note, health and safety wise, is there is a fire blanket on the side here for any issues. That's your kitchen. In the fridge freezer area, at the top we have a carbon monoxide sensor. It's nothing to do with that, it's just battery powered. You've got a test button if you wanted to test it, but if the battery's running low, it will bleep at you and let you know. Underneath that is a freezer, quite a good size. Underneath that is a very good size fridge. Self-explanatory, shelves are all adjustable. And then when you're in transit, it's always wise to flick this little lever over, and then that just locks the doors shut, so there's no risk of them flying open. So, the power button. This fridge will run on battery, gas or electricity. So if you power it on for the first time, give it a second to catch up, and you see it's currently thinks it's looking for electricity. So this is when you're hooked up, this would be lit. If you press it again, it flicks over to battery. So this is for when you're driving. It doesn't actually chill it, but it maintains the same temperature that you've got it at before with the engine running. And then if you flick it over to gas, you'll hear a little clicking in the distance, and this is now running on gas. And this temperature here, or this button does the temperature, so the more bars, the colder it is. 4 is usually ample. For the heating inside the motorhome, you have, this is your main point, which is gas and electric. Assuming you've got gas in your bottle and it's turned on, to light it, you need to turn the gauge from 0 around to whatever you need it to be, press it down and hold it, and you'll hear clicking, which is the gas igniting. Once you don't hear clicking anymore, let go, and you can see it's a light. You won't be able to see it on the video, but if you look down in this little window here, you can see there's the blue flames in there. And then you adjust the temperature, whatever you need, and this controls the speed at which it blows out of this heater. One thing to say, this does get very hot, so just be careful once it's off and running not to touch that. And to turn it off, you do that by twisting this all the way back round to 0, and you can just double check the flame has gone out. Another benefit is once you're connected to hookup, you have got this very inconveniently placed control and thermostat down here. 3 options depending on what you're connected to at your hookup, i.e. how much electricity they allocate you. Some of them are restricted on the smaller ones. If you're on a good site, they'll give you 2 kilowatts, which is what that is on now. See, just flick it round from 1,500 off and 2,000. And then this will be your thermostat, and this will regulate how much warm air is blown out of the ducts, which are distributed various places around the motorhome. On the side of the fridge cupboard is the switch for your boiler. The boiler is housed underneath this seat. You don't need to access that at all. It's very straightforward. You've got 2 settings, 50 degrees and 70 degrees. So just flick it up. You'll hear a click as the boiler energizes. 50 degrees is more than enough really. If there's an issue with it, the red light will come on and you know you either run out of gas or you haven't removed the cover from outside. Very important, if that cover's on, the boiler won't be able to vent and you'll have no hot water, which in actual fact has just happened now. The red lights come on because we've left the cover on outside. So we'll turn it off, remove the cover and do it all again and we'll be fine. As far as storage goes, you've already shown you the garage with all the permutations there. There are also 2 full height cupboards with hanging rails in and the lower locker. There's also all the overhead cupboards, most of which are empty. And if you want to go really crazy, you have also got storage areas for soft bags and things like this. One under this chair and the same under this chair. In this area, you kind of call it your entertainment area, if you like. There's a selection of games, magazines, cards, DVDs, and the remote for the TV. The TV and the aerial has a master switch here, which you need to have on before you can do anything else. And that also powers up the 2 USB fast charging points there. There is also another 2 240 volt outlets there, but obviously same again, you need to be plugged in for that to work. And the TV, pretty straightforward, just select your source. There is a DVD player, so you can insert DVDs in the side there, or if you want to watch TV, select DTV and then just tune it in to whatever area you're parked in. You'll need to retune it every time you move, obviously. The aerial is fixed, so there's nothing to put up or pull down, just tune it in when you're ready. Another feature of this TV is if you want to bring your own movies on a USB stick, there is a port on the back, and there's also an HDMI input for any other devices you may want to bring with you. When you leave, it's best to put the telly flat and then turn this off, and that way you're going to preserve as much battery life as possible. Okay, so in the main cabin area, you've got this skylight which does open, and extra lights as well. So just twist it like that, and away you go. And you've also got your insect net or blackout blind as well. And you've just got to remember before you drive off to make sure it's fully closed, like so. Okay, one thing to mention is with motorhomes, and especially the windows, is everything does something and moves somewhere and so on, and everything is quite fragile. So I think the rule of thumb is if it doesn't work first time or you've got to force it, then you're not doing it right. So everything needs to be done quite gently. These windows, to open, flick all your catches up and then just push it out and it will lock in a certain position, or a bit more, or to close it, go all the way up, let go, and it will come down again. You have to make sure that these catches are all in the locked position. If you have them in a half position, you can have a bit of air in at night if you need, but for travelling, you definitely need them like this, otherwise the wind will get underneath and blow them away. To shut the blinds, you've got various options. If you want the blackout blinds, squeeze them together, slide them up, they lock into the top blind. And then to bring them down, so you've got the fly nets, you can have half and half, or you can have all the way down as fly nets, or if you want to open them up fully, you just go like so. In the dining stroke flexible sleeping area, you've got quite a lot of permutations. We'll start with this one. So currently configured for 2 people dining. You can convert this to a 3-seater sofa or a single bed reasonably easily. So I'll demonstrate that. First of all, lift the table, slight angle, fold the leg up, and when it's at an angle you can just lift it up like so. It then slots into that gap there, and then if you're using it as a 3-seater sofa, you spin these round, bring the other cushion that is usually stored up top, and then you've got a 3-seater sofa for sort of daytime use. If at night you wanted someone to sleep on this, then all you would do, you would remove the back cushions. They are held in place with some Velcro straps. You'll just lift up, and then you can store these at night up here or in the garage or in a cupboard, wherever you're not using anywhere. And then assuming, or if you have taken up our option of linen, etc., then we would supply you with bedding, duvets, pillows, sheets, etc. In a normal travelling mode, this is how you'd have it. So dining table and seat belts for 4 passengers. This also will convert to a small double or a large single, depending on how you do it. So we'll show you the first steps of that First thing to do is, similar to this other table, lift it up at an angle, fold the leg up, lift the table off, and then that will drop down and sit on the wooden section there, like so. Take out your cushions behind the seat belts. You don't actually need that one, although you could use it as a pillow if you wanted to. Seat belts out of the way. That one slides there, it's got the groove. That one goes next. These ones slide down. Lose your seat belts. And then that is your large single. You can put that there if you wanted to use it as a pillow or that way around, whichever you suit. Although, as I said previously, if you've taken up the option of the bedding, then this will come with double duvets and pillows and bottom sheets. You have got the option as well to extend this from a single into a full-size double. And to do that, you need to extend the legs, add some extra cushions and so on and so on. So I'll show you how to do that now. You flick your lever down and you pull out this side piece until it latches. Flick that over. Do the same with this one. Like so. You'll notice on the underside of the table there is a table extension that is velcroed in place, which if I can get it off, I can show you. This piece will now slot into that gap, like so. Your table will then slot into there, like so. You will then put your cushions back as they were, which I remember how to do them. And you have also got an extra set of cushions, which are these ones, which go down the side. But let's get that in first. So this goes back exactly as it was that we showed you in the previous making up of the bed. Like so. Like so. And that one. Like that. And then you've got your optional pillow stroke rest, as it were, there. And then these extra cushions, which if you've gone for the kind of 6-berth option, we will put in for you. Just go down the side. So. And then you have got a much larger bed. Downside of this though is you do get your bed here and your single here, but your ladder is a bit restricted. But that's the option, should you want it. Onto the rear sleeping areas. We've seen already that the bottom bunk can be used in the upward position if you want to carry extra stuff in the garage, or if you've got two people sleeping here, obviously goes in this format. This ladder you might not want if you've got 2 adults sleeping in here. It's easier if it's out the way. You can hang it in this cupboard here. They've also both got night lights, blackout blinds, mosquito nets and opening windows, and the top bunk also has 2 charging points, one with twin USB outlets and one with cigarette style compression outlet. And also, if you've got a small child you're worried about falling out of this top bunk, you've got this safety net that lives underneath the mattress, which you can just unravel, clip into place, and then they are nicely safe and trapped. Moving on to the overcab bed. This is a permanently made up bed, king size, foam and sprung underneath. You have pockets to store some books, you've got night reading lights, window with blackout blinds, and you also have a USB point up there to charge your phone at night. As per the other top bunk, this also has a pull-up net that spans across. Okay, in the cab now, pretty straightforward really, same as driving any other largish van. Notable features, electric mirrors. There's actually 4 positions if you like, so you can adjust the top one, and if you twist it around one more, you can actually adjust the bottom mirror as well, which is really handy, and then flick it over and it will do the passenger one. Controls, windscreen wipers, lights, cruise control. If you want to use the cruise control, flick it to on while you're driving along, a little green icon comes on the rev counter, and then to increase your speed, just flick it up, decrease, flick it down. To turn it off, either touch the brake or turn it off. In the middle, this is surprisingly important. Things to check before you drive off. They all seem pretty obvious, but it's always worth looking through these before you head off home. Stereo, it's not a sat nav, but you can connect your phone to it via Bluetooth or as a USB input. It's currently a little USB stick with some music on. And there's also a built-in reversing camera, so with the ignition on, put the van into reverse and the camera will automatically come up and show you what's behind you. Once you get down to the red markers, you've got about 18 inches, you're quite close. You've also got a forward-facing camera here, which is just for insurance purposes, that will bleep just like that. Both LEDs will come on to say that it's up and running about 30 seconds after you've started the engine. That just shows that the GPS has kicked in, but there's nothing to do with that. It might bleep occasionally while you're driving along, especially if you go over a bump or something, but that's perfectly normal. Air conditioning with the engine running, if the light's on, the air conditioning's working. Heat, cold, position, all standard stuff really. You have your 12-volt cigarette adapter there, twin USB chargers, somewhere to put your phone. To release it, it's not obvious, but there's a little button on the back that springs the levers out and you squeeze your phone in. You've also got another glove box here. This one is actually chilled, so when you've got the air conditioning running, you've got cold air flowing through there, which keeps your drinks cool on a summer's day. And then you also have another glove box there on the passenger side. Okay, hopefully that has covered everything with Frankie G. By now you've got my details, so if you've got any questions, feel free, email, give me a call. Otherwise, happy holidays.